Hello, Dr. Monica here. Are you on a statin, a cholesterol-lowering drug? I see it all over the place, but what really motivated me to make this video is that so many people aren't doing just a few things that would make that situation so much better. Being on the statin and also striving to do some natural approaches, which they seem to want to do, to make it better, to bring down their cholesterol numbers naturally. So what does that mean? You got prescribed this drug, you went to your practitioner, your T cholesterol, your total cholesterol was 200 points or above, and so you were prescribed this. So as you're on it, the most important thing I wanted to point out was one, what to do when you're on it, and two, what to do along with that to naturally bring it down, because that's what your practitioner really wants you to do. They want you to have it down, but they don't want it high. And statins, cholesterol-lowering drugs, work really well. The only thing is, it's a medication. So you get where I'm going. So what do we do when we're on it? First and foremost, it's really simple approaches, but when we have to change what we're doing, our habits, our food intake, it becomes not so simple. But with the cholesterol-lowering drug, your statin, what you want to be on is a Q10, Coenzyme Q10. Now, many of you have heard about it, so I'm here to give you some more information about it. First and foremost, what you want to be on is Ubiquinol, with an OL at the end. There are a few forms of Coenzyme Q10. Ubiquinol is one of them. It is the most absorbable and the best form. So that's what you want to look for, and you want to be on 100 milligrams, most people, a day. That's what they're sold in. Mostly you'll see that, and that's what's recommended. That really helps, and especially if you are going through this out there and you've got muscle soreness and cramping, it really is helpful for that. That's primarily what it's for. And obviously there's something going on in the body, and when you're decreased in so much fat, which the cholesterol medications do very well, as I said, it causes an imbalance, and even in the musculature it bothers it. When you take the Ubiquinol, it puts back some of the things that the muscle fibers need, and they are absent when you're on this drug. So that's really it in a nutshell. That's what I want to see you do. The other thing is kind of the bigger thing. It's 3D. That's like one-dimensional. You want to do what? You want to change, of course, your food intake, and you want to do some targeted supplementation. And three, you guessed it, move. And I'm so happy to be doing this at this time, at the beginning of the summer, because moving, I'm going to jump right into that. The last thing I mentioned, moving would be 20 minutes, 3 times a week. Most of us can get that done. We can do that. So at that 3 times a week, like the other things I'm going to talk about, the vital thing is consistency. And that's not always easy. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I used to train at Gold's Gym, Santa Monica, California. And back in the day, Lou Ferrigno would come in, and I would be reading Muscle and Fitness magazine all the time. And he made a statement, and I think the interviewer asked, what do you do when you don't feel like training? And of course, he was training for big bodybuilding contests. And he said, I get myself there. I get myself into the gym and I do abs, or I do calves, or I do a body part. And most of the time, as I'm getting to the gym, I really do my workout. It's just getting there and going through it and delivering myself there. I just stay on target as much as I can. So I always thought that was interesting. Of course, that was years ago, and that always stayed with me. So consistency when we're trying to be healthy and we're trying to achieve things is monumentally important, and you know that. 3 times a week, move, and I want you to measure it. You've got something on your wrist. You can do that. You could just look at the clock. You can make it much more like unplugged in and watch. You kind of want to increase it a little bit as you go along. But the times per week, the 3 is a good start. Walking is good. And there's so many other types of workouts that you could do. So that's just moving a little bit more. And I put that out there because I don't want people to think that they've got to be in the gym 5 days a week or more and they're doing these intense workouts. I don't even think that's good anyway if you're just starting. So you've got gyms around, you've got people around you, you've got the internet. look some things up and start that. I think that's wonderful. Okay, I'm still working backwards. Now, targeted supplementation. Again, if you're on the statin, or if you're just looking, maybe you talk to your practitioner and you were borderline and you're looking to lower that cholesterol. Well, what you want to do is a cholesterol lowering, and I hate this word, but it's diet. So again, you can look up what this means. I just want to give you a few hinters. First of all, so many of us just go, oh, I don't even want to start that. It sounds so terrible. But if you do things and you do them consistently, you're going to be able to be not so far, I don't think, away from some of the things that bother most of the people. Not being able to eat beef, not being able to have their cheese, or not being able to have cottage cheese and yogurt. But I'm here to tell you, let's go back to the beef. If you stick to your cuts that are not so fatty, your chucks, your sirloins, your rounds, and you're doing one serving at a time, conservative, that's about 4 to 6 ounces, okay? And you're doing it 3 times a week. So within the week, whether it be lunch or dinner or what have you, it would only be 3 times. You're going to be able to be in a cholesterol lowering situation when it comes to eating red meat. And also, don't forget about your veal and your lamb and your chicken, of course, because that really helps in bringing down the cholesterol. Skinless chicken, you all know that. When it comes to, let's say, I got my yogurt fans out there and my cottage cheese fans, it goes such a long way to buy them low fat. It goes, if you look it up, and again, we have a tremendous tool. As I say to my patients, there's no more questions. And most of the things for looking at numbers and so forth, you can get a pretty good guide on the internet. So my advice is that you tally the amount of cholesterol that you would take in per day. Now, most Americans, on average, take in 300 milligrams of cholesterol a day. When we're lowering, we want to go right to 200, okay? And what I was saying about the types of meat and the dairy and so forth, that's a great thing to keep in mind. And by the way, there is an app for this, guys. If you really wanted to get into it on your phone, please, it's called Cholesterol Manager, okay? And I really like that one. Now, I must have seen 7. So take your pick. I like that one. And you could just put it in your phone, and that's another way to go. For some people, that's the magic key, that they really like to use the technology. So that's great. Okay. So along with food, I can't leave this out. In general, the reason we got in trouble, and I speak a lot about how we get in trouble with things, is that in general, a more striving way to eat would be to even go for a more vegetarian type of intake for your protein, and put the emphasis on your legumes, and put your emphasis, this is where I like a protein drink, okay? A protein drink from a plant source. That gives you to 20 to 30 grams of protein during the day. So that's wonderful, and they're virtually no cholesterol. So I think you see what I'm saying. You want to make combinations of food that are lowering it. And again, I'm not telling anybody to be a vegetarian. I'm just saying to embrace some of those habits are wonderful. There's a lot of even macaronis out there now that are a combination of a legume, chickpea, their lentil, and those afford very many grams of protein. So you're not eating meat, but you're getting your protein, and you're getting it from a plant source. And again, watch yourself when you're even taking in, because not only are a lot of things that are good in the protein department, they have a lot of carbs. So we want to, again, volume is always the thing, one of the keys in when we're taking in food. So that's what I want you to think about. And of course, the end of that is, everybody, nuts and seeds to add to that protein. Like, that's going a little bit more of a vegetarian thinking, but it works. You're also going to take in vegetables and fruits. So you all know that. It's just putting it together. It's doing it every day. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about our targeted nutrition supplements. So again, I just talked a little bit about the food. I gave you an app, and some of the apps actually have recipes, and they also have, ways to put things together, telling you how much cholesterol is in something, of course, and how much protein you're getting. So with that said, using the app and now having a little bit more ability to stick to something. I hope I'm encouraging you that it's not such a bad thing to start really doing. You can do it. Also, if you add, the third prong is the supplements, the targeted supplementation. We talked about if you're on the statin to take the Ubiquinol. Let's stay there and let's start with that. The Ubiquinol is something that somebody over 60 would take. Okay, that's part of my anti-aging regime, if you will, and so that would also be included. But a lot of people who don't have a real cholesterol problem, it's in some of their other supplements, you're getting it sometimes. So that would be something that's not as targeted. But drum roll, this is what I really want to see people on. And that is a type of phytosterol, okay? So phytosterols, what is that? That is, well, think about it, cholesterol, phytosterol. It's the plant form of cholesterol, if you will. That's a very broad statement. But in the gut, as you're eating, okay, it goes into the gut, and what happens is, as you're taking this consistently, this nutrient, this nutraceutical, this vitamin, it competes for the receptor sites to be brought into, across the gut, into the body. Okay, and if it's brought into the body, it goes throughout your arteries and so forth, and that's what we don't want, okay? So it competes. It's the phytosterol. And then it leaves the rest of the cholesterol to kind of float around in the intestines and be moved out. That's what we want. So you want a phytosterol, okay? It comes in pills. You also, I'd like to see people also be on a fiber, a soluble fiber. And I like acacia a lot. It is almost all soluble fiber. What is that? Well, there's insoluble fiber. Remember, your insoluble fiber, your broccoli, your cabbage, your salad, the brushy stuff. The soluble fiber is the things that, it's the type of fiber, take a potato, take macaroni, take beans. And if we put them in a pot and we watch them heat up, they kind of blow up. And they kind of have that, they blow up and they're kind of mushy, and they could kind of like stick onto things through the intestines, especially fats and especially cholesterol. So I like to see the cholesterol kind of stay in the intestine, if you will, and kind of be taken out. It's a little bit, it's a very holistic kind of a food kind of approach. So this is what I like to see. And certainly there's other things that you can add to that. So with the movement, with your change in food, with some targeted supplementation, with if you're on your cholesterol lowering drug, your statin already, and you add your Ubiquinol, you're in good shape. So I like this for you. And don't forget to like our channel. You can also go to drjuliemonica.com, go to our shop. If it opens up, we have cholesterol support. Click on it, and we've added a few products that have exactly what I'm saying and what I have discussed here today. So good luck with that. Remember, better outcomes from better intakes. Good luck.